Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I hope your day is absolutely awesome. So what am I going to be doing today? I'm going to be showing you the difference between a beauty blender and a Kabuki brush. Now, of course, if you are very much new to makeup, then this is a video you're going to want to watch because it will show you the difference between the two tools and how it applies the foundation to your face. So, without further ado, if you are new here, please hit that subscribe button and that like button if you want to continue seeing my videos and my content. And if you are a returning watcher, then thank you very much. It means absolutely everything to me. So without further ado, let's get to it. Cleanse, tone and moisturise my skin. The next step I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be priming my skin. So I'm using the same primer, the same foundation and the same contour for both sides, but I'm just using different tools. So first off, we are going in with the Insta Blur mattifying primer with vitamin E, and it looks just like this. Now this is my absolute favourite primer of all time. Now, so I am going to just go ahead and put it on both sides of my face. And there we go, we are all primed, we are all prepped. So first off, I am going to go in with the Kabuki brush. Now, I love the Kabuki brush an absolute lot. It is a flat brush, so it's got no curvature to it. It is a very, very dense brush, so it's really good for stippling to your face. So I am going to go in with this first, just to see how it blends, how it moves the product. Of course, I am going to be stippling it. Now, of course, if you don't know what stippling means, I'm going to show you very, very shortly. So I've got some of the product on the back of my hand, and I'm just going to go in and just dab it in the back of my hand slightly, and it's all on there. So just going all over, making sure that I've got a nice even coverage. Now, I found with the Kabuki brush, it's really easy to move the product, it's really easy to blend, and it's really easy to get a nice even coverage. It's super, super easy to use as well. However, I have found that it's kind of difficult to get it around the eye area. Of course, if you've got your eyebrows already done, like I have, it is very much difficult to prevent getting the foundation on your eyebrows. It's something that has taken me a little bit of time and a little bit of practice. I've also found that it uses quite a bit of product, so I am just blending this all in. I am trying my hardest to use as little as possible, but of course it's a BB cream, so it is something that is very, very, very light coverage anyway. So I've noticed with this, depending on the foundation, but with just this foundation, I do get the occasional line within the application of the foundation. So it does require a lot of stippling and a lot of blending. But it's super quick and super, super easy. But I do love the finish with the Kabuki brush, just especially with how easy it is and how easy it goes on. And of course, with the Kabuki brush as well, it's really easy to build up the product on your face. So it is one of my favourite tools to use. Making sure I blend it into the ears as well. And that is all just nicely finished. If I didn't want to set it with setting powder, then that finish for me is just nice enough. So I'm now going to go in with the beauty blender. Now, the beauty blender is not something that I've always been a massive fan of. It's something that I find really difficult to use myself, and it's taken me a little bit of time to practice with it, but the more I use it, the happier I'm getting. Now I've gone with the same amount of product. Of course, again, just a little top tip, if you would choose to go for a beauty blender, They will come a little bit smaller than this. So they come in all different shapes and sizes. You might have seen them at your local drugstore, your local pound shop, but they do come smaller than this. So to get them this sort of size and light and fluffy and bouncy, you run them under warm water or cold water even, and you just squeeze out the excess and it will just, you'll see it grow before your eyes. Now, I'm going to be using the flat edge of this, and I'm going to be stippling it, but I'm going to be bouncing it off my face. And that sounds really vicious, but it's not. It's just because it's super soft. That's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be bouncing it. So again, I'm going to be getting some on the end of the product, on the end of the beauty blender. Almost slipped up then and just didn't know what to say. But I'm holding it almost in that groove there. And I'm just going in with little bounces on my face. Now with this, when I first used it, it did take me a little bit to get used to the application. I found that the first time I used it, my arm actually really started hurting because I wasn't used to using this kind of motion. Now, the more I've used this and the Kabuki brush, so obviously it's the same kind of movements with both, but the only difference with this is you can't sit there and drag the product along your face. You have to bounce it, you have to stipple it. So the more I've used either or, the less my arm's hurting. But of course, if you are very much new to using this, using the beauty blender or Kabuki brush, depending on which one you like the look of better, then your arm may actually hurt a little bit, but that is something that obviously is only a temporary thing. I've noticed it uses about the same amount of product, but it's going on quite nicely. So the application for me, for both of them, is very much similar. So again, it might just be the way my skin is at the moment. So here, I need to blend it out a lot more. So down my neck, I do slightly rub it into the skin just a little bit, but that's because it needs to have that gradient, that bounce, that smooth transition, we could say. So I'm just going to try and blend this out a little bit more. As I said, I noticed it used the same amount of product, really. There was no real difference. But I've noticed that it is lighter coverage. It's given me that much more lighter coverage than this side. Now, you may not be able to see it in the camera, but it has just given me that slight lighter coverage. And it is also slightly still patchy. So for me, it might just be that I'm using a beauty balm. So I'm using a BB cream. It's left it at a nicer finish than the beauty blender side. So with it being slightly patchy, it's showing me that it's left a thinner coverage. So it's not the fact the foundation's patchy, it's the fact that it is a very much thinner coverage on my face. So what I want to do is I want to go in with a second layer, a thinner second layer of foundation with the beauty blender, just to see if it changes anything, because if that's the case, then it will show that you will need more foundation than if you were using a Kabuki brush. And with that second layer, it's gone on very much nicer, and it's looking very similar to the Kabuki brush side, but that will just show that I'm using more foundation. Of course, if you've got a very much full coverage foundation, then you may not need to use as much. That is something that I will be doing a video of at a later date, is the difference between the two foundations with using the Kabuki brush and a beauty blender. So, overall thoughts, honestly, with a beauty balm, the Kabuki brush is definitely winning so far. So we are going to go in with the same contour, which is, for me, is the Technic Colour Fix. And it is in this sort of tube here, like this. And I'm just going to draw it on. So it comes out in a brush like this. So there's a little bit there. Okay, I don't know if you can see that. It's a little bit there. And we're just going to draw this on. Like so. Nothing too much. But because we're going in with the same type of contour, I'm going to just do it all together and then I will blend it with each individual tool. Putting about the same amount of product on each. And then down the nose as well. Okay, so again, we'll go in with the Kabuki brush first and we'll see how that blends in with the foundation. We'll see how it blends into my skin. So at the moment, what I'm finding is it's spreading an awful lot on my face and it's just not blending very well. I'm not appreciating the blend that it's giving me. It's just almost spreading it way too far outwards, and then as it's spreading, it's leaving like a patch here. So I'm almost trying to blend it out a bit further just to try and give my face that look, and it's just not giving me the finish that I'm liking. So on the forehead, I'm just going to sort of blend it like this. Now I have a hairline that does not blend anything in, no matter how hard I try. So that's given me a little bit of something, but it's not showing up. So it's not actually showing up that I've got anything on my face. So now just down the nose. And again, it's not something that I'm liking too much. Then again, I do tend to go in with a powder, but because I'm using a liquid foundation without using a standard big brush like this until with setting powder, I thought I better go in and just show you exactly how it is with the beauty blender and the Kabuki brush. So I'm now going to go in with the opposite side. So this is one thing that I really appreciate with the blending buds or beauty blenders, is the fact that they have two different sides, so you can use the two different sides for two different things. So I am just going to go in with one side and I'm just going to blend upwards like so, and this is blending absolutely beautifully. It's given me almost that chiseled kind of look here. This contour is not the right shade for my face. It is more of a brown than it's got more of a brown undertone than it has got a grey undertone. But for the purpose of this, I am absolutely loving it. So it's giving me that really nice kind of chisel look. So if you can see there, it's giving me that really nice chiseled look. And then again, forehead. So it's almost not absorbing all the product like you would think. And again, with the forehead, it's giving me that really nice it's almost standing out a little bit. Now, of course, the more I'm blending, the more it is disappearing, which is really, really strange. But the nose, we're just gonna blend down. So if you look, that's giving me more of a chiseled look. It might not actually show up because my camera is pants, but it's okay, we'll try. So then what we're going to do is I'm going to go in with a lighter shade of foundation, which I use for my contour. And we are just going to take a little brush, as this is how I always put it on. And we're just going to go a little bit under the eyes. Now, a lot of people ask me why I use a foundation for my contour. And it's just because I don't like the consistency of how a standard concealer works. I'm just not a big fan of it at all. So hence why I use a liquid foundation. It just gives me that really, really nice, not too harsh look. So because I'm using the same for all over, I am going in with the same amount of product on both sides, hence why I'm doing what I'm doing on both sides. So now I just want to see how that all blends together. So I'm going to again go in with the Kabuki brush. Now I have used the same Kabuki brush for all of this. So the big question is the dark colour going to transfer onto this lighter shade? And the answer is no. Okay, I'm very much impressed with that. It's not transferred, it's just lightened up my eyes, and it's actually given me a really nice finish. So I'm just going to go in with just a little bit more by my eyes. And then one place I absolutely forgot, which is a must, is here. So again, I'm just going to dab it all in just to see how that is going to blend out and see whether it's going to blend nicely. Do half my chin. Now on my chin, I've noticed it's blending out a lot more. And it's actually aided me getting that sort of chiseled look here on my cheek. However, it does blend out quite a lot, quite a small amount in quite a large space. Now, although it didn't do that with my foundation, it's definitely doing it with my contour. So again, do half. So it's not as precise. It's one thing I've noticed is it's not as precise. It is definitely just foundation kind of brush. But it is left a really nice overall finish. So now the next step is contouring with the Beauty Blender. So I'm going to go in with the opposite side, which I really love because now that means that the two colours are not going to mix us off as much. And we are just going to go in and lightly tap again with the more precise edge. So it's taken off quite a lot of the contour. But it's still leaving that really, really nice finish. Almost like an airbrushed finish. Do my chin area. It's not blending out nowhere near as much. It's definitely patchy here. I don't know if the camera's picking that up, but it's patchy here. So I'm not a big fan of this. So I'm really trying to blend that bit out. Again, I'm going to have to go in with a bit more product just to try and help smooth out what I'm doing. It's given more of an angled look though. So this side is all really blended in. This side is very much an angled look. So if you are, suppose, looking for that really chiseled look, then a beauty blender would most definitely be the one for you. If you are looking for a really natural kind of look, a natural kind of glow, all really blended in nicely together, then definitely a Kabuki brush would be the one for you. Overall, I will say I'm very much enjoying using the Kabuki brush. For me, it's definitely a product that it's left just a beautiful kind of, a beautiful finish, whereas this side, it's very much patchy. My redness slightly here is showing through, and it's just not giving me that full flawless look. However, what I will say is, for me, the Beauty Blender is definitely showing up with the contour. So I think for me, I will be definitely using both in the long-term future. It's just for you to decide on what you want to do. So I am going to blend that in with some setting powder. I'm using the Younique Touch Behold translucent setting powder, and I want to see if it's put that much product on my face that it's going to go cakey. So I'm using the same brush on both sides. I'm going over with the same amount of product. It's not leaving any kind of cakiness. I've just got a load of setting powder in my eyebrow. It's not leaving any kind of cakiness at all on either side, but this side is definitely less blended. So as you can see here, it's leaving like a patch where it's just not blended in nicely, whereas this side, it's left a really nice shaded kind of good gradual look. So if you're looking for really glamorous, then I would definitely suggest investing in a Kabuki brush. But if you're after a really nice contour, then a beauty blender is definitely something for you. So just a reminder of what they look like and my overall thoughts. This is what they both look like. This is both what they look like after being used as well. So for foundation, the Kabuki brush is definitely my favourite. It's allowed me to blend really nicely. It's allowed me to get everywhere that I need to blend into my hairline, on my ear, down my neck, and it's not left anything too patchy. This side, I found I had to use more product, and it was one that I did struggle with the blending, and it was the fact I couldn't sort of buff it into my skin. With the contour, with the darker shaded contour, I initially thought that it spread itself out too much, but it hasn't. Up here, it's not gone as well as I'd like, so it's not, you can't use it in very small spaces, but it is definitely something that you can use all over, providing you haven't got your eyebrows on or anything like that. On this side, I found that it's aided with getting a more sharper kind of look, sharper contour, but it's not blended it in as nicely as I'd like. Whereas this side, it's blended in really nicely, but this side has given me more of a angle, whereas this side is giving me more of a good blend. With the lighter shade of contour, it's given me, I think they both rated about the same. There was not really much that I could say about both, apart from maybe the Beauty Blender, it left, I had to again use slightly more product. Neither has been leaving me looking cakey. So I'm very much happy with how they've both finished. There's not really a lot more I can say on the matter, but this side, the Kabuki brush, for me is definitely our winner. Now, of course, if you have got a different foundation and you really enjoy using a beauty blender, then continue. Don't let me stop you. But for me, with a BB cream, the beauty blender is definitely not something I will be continuing to use unless it's for my contour. But on that matter, I will use that to just blend it in nicely, and then use the Kabuki brush over the top just to stop with this high angle that I've got going on. So, one of my next few videos, so it's not going to be my next one, but in around about 2 or 3 weeks time, I'm going to be getting myself a different foundation. I'm going to be using a different foundation. I'm going to be showing you exactly the difference again between the two and how that foundation will be going on with both of these products. So without further ado, thank you everyone for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please hit that like and subscribe button. Every person that watches, every person that subscribes, it means it means so much to me. I am very much a real person, and I will sit here and tell you that every time someone subscribes, I let out a little squeal. So have an absolute amazing day, and I will speak to you all on the next video on Tuesday. So have a great day. Love you all lots. See you later.